With Tyrann Mathieu retired, the Saints have gone out and got themselves another safety in Julian Blackmon. We'll talk about the signing right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What is going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome inside another edition of the Straight Up Saints podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rosvoglu, and as always, the Straight Up Saints podcast is brought to you by Scott Vicknair Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore, Scott Vicknair handles it all. You give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. They'll always fight for the win. The Saints learned earlier today, although I'm sure they probably had some idea of it, that Tyrann Mathieu's retiring from the NFL. So with him out, the Saints had an opening at safety, and even though they signed Justin Reid and drafted Jonas Sanker, when you lose Tyrann Mathieu, you start to worry about the depth. You start to worry about the leadership in the locker room. Well, one thing the Saints have done to quickly fix one of those concerns is the depth, going out and signing Julian Blackmon, 26-year-old safety who has spent his entire NFL career so far with the Indianapolis Colts. And the one thing I'll say about Blackmon, and I don't think you could take away from him, A, he is as tough as they come, and B, he is a playmaker. 7 interceptions in the last 2 years. And going into last season, Blackmon thought he was going to be on the verge of getting that big contract, right? And even though he played in 16 games last year, he was injured for pretty much every single one of them. He suffered a torn labrum during the season opener, and he said in January that affected his production and the impact that he had on the field. And look, you've kind of seen it, right? He's that safety this year. I think of, Justin Simmons last year, where they're a productive player, but they're lingering on the market, whether they're asking for too much money or maybe asking for a long-term commitment. And they need to kind of wait for that opportunity and that spot to open up. And that spot has definitely opened up in New Orleans with Tyrann Mathieu out of the picture. So bringing in Blackmon, he's obviously going to have to get up to speed to Brandon Staley's defense and how the Saints run things, of course. But I like the move. I think at this stage in the offseason where you lose a role player like a Tyrann Mathieu, a leader like a Tyrann Mathieu, to go out there and get a safety who is very productive, as you've seen during his time in Indianapolis, and I think is capable of getting back to the best version of himself, still in the prime of his career at 26 years old. And again, like I mentioned, was dealing with a torn labrum for all 16 games that he played in last season. I think the value is good here for the New Orleans Saints. You add depth. Now you don't have to rush Jonas Sanker's progression, let's say. And I think he can make a nice tandem with Justin Reid in the back end of the secondary. So again, is this a home run signing? I don't know if I'd go that far, but is it a damn good one given the circumstances? Yeah, I definitely believe that. So the Saints go out there, add a little bit of depth for the start of training camp this upcoming Wednesday, and it makes the Tyrann Mathieu news not hurt as much. I know it still hurts for the community impact and what Tyrann Mathieu means to Saints fans and just Louisiana football fans in general. But, Blackmon is a damn good player, and I think he's going to have, obviously, a ton of chances to prove himself in New Orleans. And if all goes well, maybe he will get that contract that he was trying to get during the 2024 season. So getting a little too far ahead of myself there, but I think the Saints did a good job of pivoting as quickly as possible and getting the best safety they could in New Orleans. So kudos to the front office for that. And now all the attention turns over to training camp this Wednesday. But let me know what you guys think about the signing. Are you excited about Julian Blackmon joining the New Orleans Saints? Do you think he's going to be a nice addition to the secondary? Let us know in the comments section below. And as always, guys, subscribe to Boo Crew Media for more content here from the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat Nation.